You know, one of the things I like about the new Muddy Bull is the construction of the base, the platform that it goes on. And we've had some strong winds in the Midwest, and often we have our blinds up on tops of ridges so that we can get consistent winds, and it's where the deer end up. So you have to make sure that you've got something that can endure those types of winds. You know, nothing's going to withstand a tornado, but this thing, it's good to go for 60 to 70 mile an hour winds, man. It is really stable. They did a good job when they engineered the base and how the actual blind connects to it, the overall resistance to the wind, and the ability to anchor it down, all four different legs, and then also to the center. There's a center anchor there, so this baby's not going anywhere. It's going to stay here for a long time. You know, I'm standing inside of the brand new Muddy Bull, and I want to talk about my impression of it. We got it erected in a great spot. Terry killed a 167 here. I was lucky enough to kill one of my best deer here ever, and we replaced a current blind, which was big game freestyle, with this Muddy Bull. And one of the reasons we did so is because of the construction of this baby. I mean, this thing has every bell and whistle you could possibly imagine. I remember 2 years ago sitting down with everyone and talking about the features that I would love to see in a blind, like if you were going to build the perfect blind. And I mean, by golly, they did those features and a bunch more. So I am extremely impressed with the construction, the windows, the door, the floor, the carpeting. I mean, it's like hunting out of a house, man. I got to be honest with you. This thing is awesome. Very impressed with it. Beautiful, beautiful blind. Very well constructed. One of the things I like most in a blind, if you're going to be functional, because it's one thing to put a blind in the right place, it's another thing to see a deer out of it. It is a far another to go through and actually kill a deer out of it, because often you want your windows closed to keep your scent in, to keep the wind off of you, those types of things. So you've got to be able to operate the window, without being seen, so you can come to this corner and it ends up in one-handed operation, which I think is key, whether you're gun hunting or bow hunting. And they're whisper quiet, which is important. Very good hinges and easy to operate. Windows are important. That window is the perfect height if you're sitting down for a gun, or if you're sitting on your stool, you could also bow hunt out of it. And then of course you've got the corner windows for a perfect bow shot. And those just simply swing in. So there you can go from 0 out to 50 if you need to. So the windows are perfect within the blind. That's one thing I like the most. And they're glass, so they're not going to scratch, because one thing's for sure, when you're hunting out of a blind, you're going to be cleaning them often. Whether it be bug residue on the outside, or bugs on the inside, or fog, that's also a big issue. You got to make sure that you take a rag with you and clean your windows. Just looking at the overall construction of the Muddy Bull, one of the things I'm most impressed about it is the actual materials they use. Because I've had blinds in the past, whether they be cloth or plastic, heavy rain or heavy snow, and it'll cave that roof in. This one's not going to cave. It's literally impossible because of the molding involved. They really thought through the overall construction of this blind. The walls, the windows, the doors, and look at the size of this door. I mean, that's like a walk door in your house. Awesome. Very impressed. And another thing, look at that shelf right there. Whether you want to put your binoculars, your rangefinder, ammunition, extra arrow, whatever it might be. If you have a bottle of water. You know, I'm standing inside of a Muddy Bull right now. Brand new blind for Muddy. And I mean, this thing's a Cadillac. And if you follow 13, or if you follow any of the Drury shows, you've seen an evolution through the last 10 or 12 years to where we're getting more and more quality footage out of blinds, whether that be a ground blind or an elevated box blind like this one. And I think one of the reasons I like blinds, elevated blinds especially, is because you can put them where the deer are. It's sometimes difficult if deer want to, feed in the center of a field, and you see that historically, it's difficult to get a good setup in that situation. So you don't have a tree around, but you can take a blind and put it where you need it. So you can take your game to the deer, and I think that's very important. You can also put it to give yourself an extreme wind advantage. This particular spot, most of the cover is to the north and west of us. I've got a food plot north and west of us. I'm going to hunt it on a northwest wind. It goes out over this open agricultural field, but most of the movement stays north and west of us. So By observed movement, we then place the blind in the perfect place, and we seldom, if ever, get winded out of it. And with these new Muddy Bulls, that winding is going to be even less because they're fairly airtight. So I think that's rather important. Awesome job, Muddy. Awesome blind.